Today, we're diving into one of history's most powerful and, let's be honest, brutal icons, the Roman Colosseum. It's so much more than just a ruin you see on a postcard. It's a story of incredible ambition, mind-blowing engineering, and bloody spectacle, all written in stone. So let's just start with the scale, because it's hard to wrap your head around. Get this, almost 2,000 years ago, they built an arena that could hold 50,000 screaming spectators. That's on par with a lot of modern stadiums. This wasn't just a building, it was basically a city within the city.
And it wasn't just wide, it was tall. At 48 meters high, we're talking about the height of a 15-story building. Its outline completely dominated the Roman skyline. This was designed to be a statement, something you could see from miles and miles away.
But you know, the Colosseum's real impact wasn't just about its massive size. It was built from the ground up to be an undeniable symbol of Roman dominance, a message of pure might that amazingly still resonates today. You'll find it right in the center of Rome, but its original name was actually the Flavian Amphitheater. And that's not just a random name. It was a very clever way to tie the monument's creation directly to the Flavian dynasty of emperors who commissioned it. Think of it as a permanent, giant advertisement for their family's power. And this quote just nails it. It really captures the Colosseum's dual identity. On one hand, you have this raw projection of political strength, reminding everyone who was in charge. But on the other hand, it was a total masterpiece of engineering, proving that Roman power was built on some seriously unmatched ingenuity. So, how on earth did they pull it off? Building an arena this huge without a single piece of modern technology, it was just a monumental feat. It really showcases Roman innovation at its absolute peak.
Okay, so the construction kicks off under Emperor Vespasian in 72 AD. It's finished by his son Titus, who opened it with an unbelievable 100 straight days of games. But, just like the empire it represented, the Colosseum's glory days didn't last forever. By the 5th century, as Rome's power faded, this incredible arena just fell into neglect.
Architecturally, this place was a complete game-changer. Its oval or elliptical shape was revolutionary for a stadium, and its main entrance, it was designed to look like a triumphal arch, a constant nod to Rome's military victories. The sheer volume inside was immense, big enough to hold over 1,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Just take a look at these dimensions. At 189 meters long, you could basically lay 1.5 American football fields end-to-end inside of it. But these numbers aren't just trivia. They were the blueprint for an incredible logistical machine, one designed to manage huge crowds and stage spectacles that were almost beyond belief. And that brings us to the whole point of this epic arena. The Colosseum was the absolute heart of Roman entertainment, a stage built for brutal, captivating spectacles of life and death. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind are the gladiatorial contests. These were highly organized, incredibly brutal fights, often to the death, that absolutely captivated the Roman public. And they were also a very powerful form of social control. These contests created true legends. Now, a little historical fact check here. The most famous gladiator of all, Spartacus, actually led his slave rebellion about a century before the Colosseum was even built. But his legend, and the stories of other superstar fighters, you better believe they echoed through these walls, inspiring the fighters inside. But it wasn't just human versus human. The arena also hosted these elaborate, incredibly bloody animal hunts, with exotic beasts brought in from every single corner of the vast Roman Empire. The Romans had a specific word for this, venetanes, and this wasn't just a random brawl. It was a highly produced show designed to demonstrate Rome's incredible reach and its total dominion over the natural world. They brought lions, elephants, even crocodiles to the center of the city just to be slaughtered for entertainment. And then there was its third and most grim purpose, public executions. Prisoners of war and criminals were thrown to wild animals in what must have been a terrifying display of Roman justice. So right here, inside these walls, you had entertainment, state power, and brutal enforcement, all rolled into one terrifying show. So, what happens after the fall of Rome? Well, the Colosseum story takes a really dramatic turn. It goes from this vibrant, deadly arena to a silent ruin, before eventually being reborn as the global wonder that we all know today. For hundreds of years, it was just neglected. Earthquakes took a heavy toll, and its stones were actually quarried, taken away to be used in other buildings. But here's the amazing thing. Even as the Colosseum was physically being taken apart, The power of its legacy, its idea, only grew stronger. And that enduring legacy makes it one of the most visited sites on the entire planet. Honestly, seeing it in person is the only way to truly grasp its scale. So, if you're thinking of going, what's the best way to connect with its incredible history? Okay, first, definitely take a guided tour. You'll understand so much more about the layers of history right beneath your feet. And make sure you get to explore the Hypogeum. Those are the incredible underground tunnels where gladiators and animals waited before being lifted up into the arena. And a final tip, try to visit at sunset. The way the light hits that ancient stone, it is an absolutely unforgettable experience.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really powerful question. The Colosseum was built for state-sanctioned violence on an almost industrial scale. So how does a place with such a brutal, bloody origin story transform into a beloved, must-see icon of human history and cultural achievement? It's a fascinating paradox, and it's what makes this monument so endlessly compelling.